Hey everyone, and welcome back. Taking a look at Pragmata again today with the 45-inch 5K 2K LG GX9 UltraGear monitor. Running this game with path tracing turned on is going to be an absolute hassle. So let's go through some settings and see what well, my recommendation would be with all the other settings turned up to the max. So let's go through the first setting that we're going to have a look at. If you go into options, systems, and then go into the graphics setting, there we go. We've got 5K 2K path tracing turned on. You're starting off with performance because any other mod is just going to be a trouble for the RTX 5080. We need our baseline FPS to be in a good state to be able to even look at frame generation. So with performance, this is the one of the most intense area that I've come across so far, with a lot of reflections, a lot of lighting, a lot of open space, and a lot of graphics to render for the 5080. Let's kill this guy quickly. There we go. So yeah, there's a lot of lighting, a lot of reflections, and you can see our baseline FPS is hitting 40 at the moment with the latency of 42, or well, we swing around between 40s. We're hitting around 40 FPS with, there we go, our latency jumps to 50 at times, but it mainly remains within the 40s, which is good. Now, with that said, let's try ultra performance quickly. And I personally wouldn't play with this because the image is very soft. It's pretty good for it to be rendering this in this quality. If you sit at a distance, you might not even notice it as much, but I do. But our baseline FPS has now jumped from 40s into mid to high 60s, which is what we're looking for in the ideal situation. But the image itself is pretty blurry. Right, so let's quickly move back to what we were testing earlier. Let's switch that back to performance, not ultra, performance, and let's try some frame generation as well. Where is it? Okay, let's do that to ×2, and let's put it back to 5K 2K and see what kind of performance we get. With a baseline of 40 or mid 40 FPS, we are only getting around 70 to 75 FPS with frame generation ×2. Our latency has spiked up, hitting 60s, or remaining, well, between, I would say, 55 to 65 is what I've noticed, but I think it's going to jump a little higher in any of the intense areas if we have a lot more lighting. To ×3 frame generation and see what we get. That settle. Okay, our latency is remaining in my preferred numbers. It's below 60 and switching between low to high 50s, which is great, and we're getting a decent amount of FPS as well. I'm not noticing any increased shimmering or halos around the characters. The hair look fabulous. So this could possibly be the best path tracing experience on the 5080 with the 5K 2K resolution. For anyone who's interested, this is actually looking pretty decent to me. Let me know what you guys think. I am normally very easily impressed, so there might be things that I might not be noticing. So please do let me know down in the comment section. The hair looks great if you look at it over there, and the reflections and everything else on the screen looks pretty decent. Let's try some frame gen ×4. Not looking too bad. I think there's some halo around the character. I don't know if it's going to show up on the camera, but I can notice it over here. The latency has spiked up as well, and we're getting around 140 FPS with 4 times frame gen with DLSS performance at 5K 2K resolution. try to kill these guys. Okay, that's all of them. So I think this is looking pretty decent. So there will have to be some decisions to be made in the end, but this is what the game looks like, and I'll leave it with you guys to decide what you'd like to do. We're going to try without the path tracing now, and we'll see what the game looks like. But yeah, DLSS performance plus frame gen times 3 would be my recommendation for the path tracing, and we'll see what the game looks like without the path tracing. Right, so welcome back. We are back with the path tracing turned off, and look at our settings. We are at 5K 2K with path tracing off, which also turns off the ray reconstruction, and we are starting off with DLAA without any frame gen. And the game looks very sharp, very nice. We don't have any frame generation going on right now, and we're getting the baseline FPS of around high 40s, sometimes touching 50s, but we are consistently staying at high 40 mark, which is pretty good to see. Latency is around high 30s, sometimes touching mid 40s, but consistently staying within that bracket. A very strong start with DLAA with our baseline FPS. Now let's switch that over to quality and see what we're getting. As expected, quality has increased the FPS into the high 60s or mid 70s. Let that cutscene go away. Yeah, we're getting around a decent high 70s as well now, which is brilliant to see. The graphics look really great, very close to what we were getting with DLAA, but I think the reflections are going to be slightly more softer compared to DLAA because of the lower resolution rendering. But let's open that up, and yeah, we're gonna see though that artifact sort of thing that we get with the ray reconstruction turned off, but still I think the image quality is very nice with a lot of the areas that we will be seeing in this game. Let's see what this cutscene does with the FPS. We're still sticking around the 70s and the 80s. We don't have any frame generation turned on right now, so this is pretty brilliant. So I think there's a lot more optimization that needs to be done with the path tracing version of this cutscene, but with quality DLSS and path tracing turned off, just ray tracing at the moment, it is performing very stable. Yeah, getting around 90s in this area. I guess it's going to drop down to the 70s again once we go further into the lighting, but let's switch things over to have some frame generation and see what that's going to be like in this specific area. The latency is very nice in 30s, even 20s, and we're getting about 140 plus FPS, and the image quality looks very good to my eyes, especially on this screen. I think the screen is outputting an amazing image over here. These guys again, let's get rid of these guys. The indoor areas are giving us around 150s, 160s as well, so pretty decent configuration I would say for the 5K 2K screen with the RTX 5080 over here. Let's switch over to a different setting now. So let's try what balance is going to give us in terms of FPS without any frame generation. So frame gen turned off, our baseline FPS is around the 80s or high 80s, which is absolutely amazing. Image quality is still very similar to what I was seeing with quality, unless I really go pixel counting and looking at any other zoomed in image and looking for the problems. I would not notice any difference between the quality and balanced image, and we're getting about 100 plus FPS in this position, but I guess we should just accept 80 plus or even 90s in more situations. Okay. Let's continue through this area. There's a good amount of reflections and lighting. As you can see, because of ray reconstruction turned off and no path trace in here, the reflections are a lot more softer, and the edges, like for example over here, you can see you can't really make out what the reflection is off. It's just a smudge compared to when you have path tracing turned on, but that's expected behavior, I suppose. It's still pretty decent if you don't want the performance hit, but then yeah, that's a compromise you'd have to make in terms of what you prefer with the image quality. Let's go down here again. Let's get some frame generation turned on and kick these guys' asses in a second. The baseline of about 90 FPS, we're hitting 140s, or yeah, 130s and 140s mainly. There's no bottleneck anywhere that I can notice, so yeah, we're maintaining around 140s over here with frame gen ×2 and DLSS balanced. It's a pretty decent experience. But if you can get the same amount of FPS with quality, why would you choose balance? But just for the sake of the video, we're gonna go through these settings and see what the performance is like. For the sake of the video, let's just try what performance DLSS is going to provide us as a baseline FPS and see what that setting gives us. So we're hitting, let's just let that kick in. Yeah, there we go, 110, or well, yeah, 100 plus FPS with DLSS performance. Latency is down to 19, which is completely negligible. But yeah, the image quality again with the new models, it looks pretty sharp, very nice to look at. If you're looking to play without any kind of frame generation, DLSS performance is the way to go. If you're looking for 100 plus FPS, but you get these shimmering with the reflections, that's just down to path tracing not being turned on. You see these softer sort of reflections and lighting, just yeah, that's just an expected behavior at this point in time with ray tracing and path tracing turned off. And just for the sake of it, let's just try some frame generation with performance DLSS with the ray tracing. We are getting about 170 plus FPS, which is brilliant. Well, it's dipping down to 150s when we get some fighting going on, but I think it's mainly going to maintain 150 plus FPS throughout. So yeah, that is good to see. Latency is 27, which is great. So if you're looking for a number count, this is the way to go. And this is a pretty decent experience, to be fair, on a big screen like this, and I hope you enjoy it. Well, that is it from me. I'm going to be doing a lot more testing as I go through the game and see what the game is like. There's also a 32:9 aspect ratio benchmarking for the Samsung G9 OLED monitor, is one of the videos that I released earlier. So if you're interested in that, please do have a look. But for the 21:9 5K 2K version, this has been Board of Tech, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.